Hi everyone, I hope you all. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin once again. Thank you for support. Okay, big up the CoinsKid crew. So this is a 5-day time frame for Bitcoin. You can see here we traded this rising wedge together, didn't we? And we lost support here, like I said to you, and then you couldn't come down, and you're going to come down to where you formed the wedge, and we did that. And then we've obviously lost that support, and we've come down even further, and we've got that beautiful little wick there at the moment. But what we're doing, we are creating some kind of mini little rising wedge here at the moment on the 5-day time frame. In my opinion, you've got a tightening range here for Bitcoin like this. Okay, so you're sort of mirroring this little fractal here, but it's small, obviously. A lot of people would say that this is actually some kind of bear flag. Okay, and if you was to start to break down of this bear flag, then you would be looking at a retest of around about $23,000. So we'll keep that in mind. If it's to start to break down and this is actually some kind of bear flag, then that's how you trade it. From wherever you start to roll, the last point of contact to the top of the resistance, that's your technical target that you would be in. And you could see you down there around about 23k if it does start to come in, in the next couple of weeks. What I'm looking at here for Bitcoin potentially right now, this is a possible scenario, obviously, and I think that would tie in with this correction being over and this sort of last dip down here like we got last year in June when we put the end of the A leg down, because like I've said to you so many times, I think you've got some kind of A leg, B leg, and right now this is a C leg nearing completion of a large ABC wave 4 correction that, we've got this sort of final impulse missing here of this bull market in this lengthening cycle. So, there's absolutely zero guarantees. One way we could invalidate that being a leg down, obviously, is start to come back up and break back above these EMAs, turn them into support, and then get the hell out of here. Now, one thing that I would like to say, and I've told you this before, if you don't necessarily want to catch a falling knife or time the bottom, and I've gone through this with you many times before, whenever Bitcoin loses a 5-day Gaussian, you do usually capitulate, okay? And we have had that capitulation there. You could say, okay, the capitulation's done, okay, and you enter at this point. But obviously, as you're fully aware, a lot of people, even myself, are kind of expecting one more dump potentially next week because of the death cross which has been formed today on the 20 EMA and the 200 moving average, the 100 moving average on the weekly time frame, which we'll show you in a moment. But one thing that will make me, the confirmation of an uptrend, an impulsive move, and the correction, okay, is done, is one thing on the charts here, and obviously if we get back above these EMAs, fantastic. Start to break back above 55 and hold support, fantastic. But we've got a major level of resistance here going forward, and it's this median line of a 5-day Gaussian. I've gone through this with you before, but if you ever see Bitcoin closing above that on the 5-day time frame, okay, resistance turning support, that's an extremely bullish signal from Bitcoin that you are going to attack these highs with the possibility of breaking them, obviously leading to a new all-time high for Bitcoin. Because whenever you've gone red historically under the Gaussian, you've capitulated on the 5-day time frame. Equally, whenever you've reversed that by getting and closing back above the median line and turning it support, that's led to a new break to the upside, an impulsive move, and to re-attack the highs for Bitcoin. So if you're sort of looking for a confirmation statement, okay, we're bullish, we're looking at impulsive move, we're looking at continuation of this bull market, then wait for that. And as like I've said to you previously and a few weeks ago, this level of resistance is constantly being drawn down to the price. So by the time this actually happens, it will effectively be down here somewhere, okay? Because I think that you potentially have a little dump like this, and you could go like this, who knows? But if you're looking for a confirmation statement that the bull is returned and we're looking at continuation and attacking the highs with the possibility of an all-time high, that is simply all you've got to wait for. Do you understand? Instead of trying to catch a falling knife or trying to perfectly time the bottom, because obviously we can invalidate this bottom scenario, we can validate the 200-week moving average, which everybody has got their eyeballs on at the moment, haven't they, on YouTube and Twitter. Everybody is expecting this. Let me show you right now, a retest of that green line right there. Everyone is expecting it. Hairdressers, the mums, the dog, everybody is expecting that. And usually, like I've said to you, when everyone expects something, it doesn't necessarily tend to happen. Like here, everyone was expecting continuation, apart from a few that were saying, okay, we're in a massive bear market leading down, which I said to you, I don't think this is a bear market. I think it's a corrective phase of a bull market, large ABC correction just there, expanded flat correction. But anyway, I do think personally it's nearing its end. And if it doesn't, and we do start to do this, like I've said to you, think about your position in crypto, because you are effectively doing something you've never done, and you're losing key levels of support and structure at that point, okay? And that's extremely bearish for Bitcoin and crypto going forward. And again, there's no crystal ball, no guarantees. It's all about support and resistance. But one thing you are here doing, which historically you've always done, is this death cross on the 20 and 100 just there on the weekly time frame. You've created the cross today. So usually within a week, this actually prints a bottom. Historically, 3 times it's done this in the history of Bitcoin. It's always printed a bottom, which has been a fantastic entry point a week later for the continuation of the bull. So basically, what could happen, obviously, is you could capitulate down here onto this green trend line, the 200-week moving average or whatever it is, sometime next week. At that point, that could be a fantastic entry point. But again, no guarantees. Because let's say, for example, this is right, okay, and what we're looking at is a 200-week moving average retest, which I don't personally think there will be. I think you're going to run shy of that. I think you sort of come down, take a bit of this wick out, and then you'll bounce there, pretty much like you did the end of that A leg. And I'm going to give you a target right now as well, because if this is some kind of rising wedge on the 5-day time frame, we're looking at very similar to this rising wedge that broke down. If we're looking at that and we start to come down, I think you're going to have a little wick down just below, and then you're going to come back up and find a higher low, and up you go basically. So if you don't want to necessarily time this bottom, wait for the higher low retest of this bottom that's going to come in for Bitcoin. If it does come in, it is a big if, because to invalidate it, all we've got to do is do this, okay? And like I said to you, if you start to get back up with that 5-day Gaussian and a medium line, it shows you your correction's over, the bull market's resumed, and you're looking at impulsive move to the upside, okay? Just there. So let me show you what I'm looking at potentially as a target. Now let's say, for example, this is the high. Let me switch to the 5-day time frame just there. Let's say, for example, you're going to rally up here and you're going to get resistance and roll over the next sort of week leading into the weekend. Next week you get your dump, okay? Then this is a key resistance just there. This will be an impulsive move to the downside, and I think you could be looking at a minimal 1272 fib just there. So if I drop a horizontal line in, you might get a little wick off that. I don't necessarily think you're going to get the 1618. I could be completely wrong, obviously, but if you remember last year, we had that little dump there when we rallied, and you can see we never even met the 1272. It ran shy of it, okay, and we're building a lot of support down here. I think potentially we might be on the cusp of something like this, the end of this A leg, because I think what you've got here, you've got 1. Okay, this is a 1, this is a 2, this is a 3. Right now you're rallying into a 4, and then you've got your little dump down there, potentially to the 1272. Not necessarily as deep as what everybody's anticipating. The 200-week moving average, even the 55 EMA, where is that at the moment? You can see that's pretty much where it is. So you'll get your wick down. Obviously, you always see bottoms have big wicks, and everyone's like, oh, why did it go there? And then it bounces up and you miss the bottom. So who knows, okay? But one thing I'm sure of, that once this correction's over, you're looking at a beautiful impulsive move to the upside. So let's say, as a thought experiment, you do bounce off at 1272 just there, and that's the end of your correction. Your RSI is in the floor and the weekly as well. If we take a look at that, you can see that that's historic lows down there as well. If you do start to do something like that, you're down at the bottom there on the RSI, equally on the stock RSI as well. So let's say that is the bottom right now, that white line on the 1272 at 23808 is an example, okay? Then your next impulsive move to the upside for me, for Bitcoin, is from there to there, and you will be looking at a minimal 133k Bitcoin price tag just there for Bitcoin. That's if it retraces to that level of support. For Bitcoin, that would be my minimal target, with overextension of this next impulsive move to the potential 2 fib, and who knows, a 2.272 fib, which is a 267k, which is my target, 260k. It's always been my target, okay? Now, you'll be in disbelief of this actually happening. Oh no, it can't happen, we're in a bear market and things like that. But let me show you. I would have been telling you exactly the same here of this correction using Fibonacci, and I was telling family and friends, you go into a minimal 1618 target. Once you break that high, you're looking at a minimal, let me move this over just there, target for Bitcoin on the 1618, which was at that time, as you started to come up V-shape, you were looking at a minimal target. I still can't see it, I do apologise. Move this over, I should put it on the left to be fair. Just there you can see 30890. So that was always my minimal target. You broke through it, you fell back into support, then you got overextended to the 2 fib. You almost got to the 2.272 fib just there. Look at that. You was actually, let's have a look how much shy of that of you was. You was around about 9% shy of a 2.272. So let's say, for example, Bitcoin gets 9% shy again off his 2.272. 9% shy. Where are you? 240k, 250k, 240k, that sort of ballpark figure. And that's where you might see a sell-off if we do this. It's a big if, obviously, there's no guarantees. But like I said to you, what I think we're looking at here for Bitcoin is a ramp-up, correction, ramp-up, correction, and a ramp-up. And this is your blow-off top of this cycle. And with that, you're going to see altcoins rally, and there's going to be the mania phase of the cycles that we've always had that we've not necessarily had in this cycle. So that's basically Bitcoin. Again, remember, there's no guarantee. I'm very tired this morning. I do apologise if I'm mumbling on. Take care, everyone. Back to another update on Bitcoin. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay tuned. Bye-bye.